have finally hit the pretty much official midway point of the season in the NFL, and today we're going to be going over who I think will win all of the awards, plus some made-up awards that I'm giving out as we're halfway through the season. Now, let me preface this with saying there is a lot of football left. There is a lot of things that can change, a lot of things that can happen, and there's no way that we know everything. I mean, tonight, Mahomes could tear his ACL, versus the Buccaneers, is who they're playing. But things like that. Next week, Jaden Daniels could go down. Caleb Williams is a good year. We don't know. Those are the obvious answers to a point, but we don't know what's going to happen. Things can change, so we're just predicting here. But either way, before we get into this video, let me remind you to check out Dubby.gg. Use code SHREDDER, SHRD3R, for 10% off your order of anything on their website. I actually just have a new flavor come in. It's the one you see here in the graphic, the Dub Sludge, the green apple. It is actually incredibly good. I have never really particularly cared for the green apple flavor. It's not bad, but it's not my favorite. No, this is really good. My wife even likes it, and she doesn't even like energy drinks. So, yeah, it's a pretty good flavor, a great company. They got a lot of good flavors. Check them out at w.gg or click the link in the description. Let's get right into this video. Starting off with the fake awards that I've just made up, the most surprising, that's the first thing we're going to start with. The most surprising team for this year is definitely, easy answer, the Washington Commanders. I myself was not a hater, but I didn't particularly believe in them, mainly because they're the Commanders, and there's always a, negative view of Washington in general in football. And I didn't think Jaden Daniels was particularly the greatest pick. Do I think he's actually better than Caleb Williams or Drake May? Not certainly. I think he's still, you put the other two in this situation, and maybe they're doing the same. It is a college offense. Cam Taylor-Britt is right. It's a college offense. However, they're doing it very well. So if you want to dog it, how about you guard it? And no one can. No one's done it very well. So give credit where credit's due. Commanders are 7-2. That's a good enough thing for them so far. The most disappointing team, though, is the Jets. The Jets are not very good right now. They are rather disappointing. They obviously got a big win this past week on Thursday Night Football, but versus Houston. But that's just, we should see better than that. The Jets need to be better than that. They just traded for Devontae Adams, and, he tweets out Rome wasn't built in a day or whatever it was. But, I mean, yeah, you're right, but we got to see y'all win. And they basically have to win out to make anything matter for the rest of the season. They're not in the best spot, not a spot you want to be in, but hey, it's better than just being, winless at this point, I guess. Moving on to the worst team of the year, the number one pick award, who I think will land the first pick in this draft. And I think it's going to be the Cleveland Browns. They're going to be worse than the Panthers. They're going to be worse than the Saints and the Jaguars and the Titans and whoever else. They are just abysmal. The Browns is the Browns. As Juju Smith-Schuster once said, the Browns is the Browns. And it reigns true today. They're never going to be a real threat until they change from the top down. Ownership, GMs, coaches, do it 7 times. You might have to do it that many times before it gets over, but they're the Browns, and it's not going to change. They may as well have a fire sale and let it all go. Should see a lot of good trade stuff coming up soon from them. I assume as Zadarius Smith is gone, maybe Greg Newsome, maybe Martin Emerson. I don't know. They might do a lot. They might not do anything. I don't know. Either way, they're the number one pick to me. Now I'm going to give you my true contenders from both the AFC and the NFC. Now, so this one, I'm going to follow this up with who just missed. But starting off with the true contenders. In the AFC, to me, it is the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers have played really convincing football lately, looking like a very full team. The Ravens, they have a good team around them. The defense is suspect, I will admit. The pass defense is rather suspect, but I think they're a good team. I think, the two-headed monster with Lamar and Derrick Henry, it's interesting. They definitely have something going for them, but they have to prove it. They've never been able to win in January. They need to prove it. Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh, man. This is the best we've seen Pittsburgh be in years, even when Ben was still there, because they have good quarterback play plus defense. The last few years of Ben's career, they didn't really have the greatest defense. They had a good defense, but not a great one. This one looks great. This one looks incredible. And that can really carry them. They need to find a wide receiver or something like that by the trade deadline in just a day or two. But they have something going. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. I don't need to speak about them. I don't care if they're playing bad. They're the Chiefs. They're going to be in this list until they're not. And the Bills, man, they look good. They look like a different kind of good. Josh Allen's taking care of the ball. He's throwing touchdowns. He's getting yards. He's doing everything. Right now, they look really, really strong. And these are not in order. It's not Bills, Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens, Chargers. That's not the order. These are all just a pile of contenders here. For the NFC, the Eagles, the Lions, the Falcons, the Rams, and the Niners. That's who I think are the contenders right now. Right now, you know, there are some teams you might notice I missed in these that, yeah, I don't think they're really true contenders, and I'll get to them in a moment. But the Eagles, they're figuring out their brand of football. They're running the ball well. Saquon Barkley's hurdling people backwards. It's obnoxious. The Lions have been the most dominant team this year. They look like the best team in the league right now. However, there is a long track record of teams who, yeah, they're not really, they're dominant throughout the season, but then they fall off in the postseason. The Cowboys, the Ravens, things like that in recent memory. The Falcons, they're putting together some good ball right now. Kirk Cousins is a very solid quarterback. He's a guy who's going to get the job done. He may not be the one who wins it, but he's going to do his job, and he's not going to mess up very much. The Rams, they're putting together a lot. They are only 4-4, but hey, just a few years ago, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady were like 3-5 or 4-5 or something like that, and they rattled off a bunch of wins and made themselves into contenders. Right now, that NFC West is absolutely wide open. The best team is the 5-4 Cardinals. Yeah, I don't really believe they're a contender, but these teams have a chance to do something. And the Niners, they're also, I think, 4-4 or 4-5. They're in a bad spot, but they have the talent to get better. They definitely do. And they kind of have to do it this year. The Niners, I think their last chance might be this year. So, either way, those are them. Now, who just missed out of these lists? First off in the AFC, the Texans, the Bengals, and then I have the Dolphins / the Jets. To me, the Texans, they have been playing and they've been winning games, but they're not playing very well. Their team's not really looking great. They're just getting by. And yeah, ultimately, the win column's all that matters. It doesn't matter how you win. It's just about you do win. And that is a big thing. But I don't know that I trust them right now. They don't play good ball. They lost to the 2-6 Jets and the 1-6 Jets, whatever they were. They were not good, and they lost to them. That's not good. They have things to figure out and to figure out quickly before this season gets away from them. And I just don't think they're ready for the playoff runs yet. They're getting there, but give them a couple years, okay? The Bengals, they've dug themselves a hole early. They fought back out of it. They're about 4-5 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Great. But they also haven't really beat a whole lot of good teams, and they're ultimately just in a bad spot. If this week they lost, it was going to be a bad deal versus the Raiders, but they ended up winning. But I'm not sure I believe in them right now. The Dolphins / the Jets, I think one of them in that division, it's, Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots. One of the Dolphins or Jets will go on a run to end this season. I don't know who. I think I'm going to lean towards the Jets because I believe in their brand of football more. But they've also fired their coach. Maybe the Dolphins do have it together. Maybe the Dolphins sell everything tomorrow. I don't know. Either way, I think one of them ends up about 10, 11 wins. Somehow, some way, they fight through it and get there. That's going to take a lot, but I think they do it. I think they figure it out. Now, they will still be just enough to be out of it. They might make the playoffs as a 7 seed, but I think it'll be just because they fought so hard, they're already worn out, tired, and they can't do it anymore. For the NFC, the Commanders, the Vikings, the Packers, and the Bucks. For the Commanders, they have a rookie quarterback. They have a second-time rookie head coach. They're not ready for playoffs. I don't think so. They could win 13 games, and I don't think they're ready for the playoffs like most teams are. I don't think they're going to be ready for it, and they just need a couple years of development to really figure out who they are as a football team. The next is the Vikings. They looked really good for the first 5-6 weeks. They've kind of teetered off here in the last couple weeks. The Vikings are a good team. Don't get me wrong at all. But the problem with the Vikings, in my opinion, is there is a lot of insufficiency around their offense. Sam Darnold has looked good, not great. And he's not going to be able to lead them to the playoffs, I don't believe. Maybe he does, but I don't believe in it. The defense is very much a splash play defense. I don't think they're the best, most effective. They blitz a lot, and that's a good thing and a bad thing because, you might get caught with your pants down on that. But either way, there's some good things there for sure. I think they're a very explosive offense. I think the defense overall is very good. It's just, is it sustainable? That's the question. And then the Packers, Jordan Love's health plays a big part into this. If he was fully healthy right now, I would say, yeah, I believe that the Packers are a contender. But right now, I can't say that because he looks incredibly pained. Last night in the game they played versus the Lions, he couldn't run up the field to spike the ball. It's a bad deal for him right now. And then the Bucks, they started off hot. They fell into a hole. The injuries for them is the big part of this. That's also kind of fitting for the Packers as well, the injuries, and the Bengals, the injuries, the Texans, the injuries. There's a lot of that here. But that's where I'm at. They just missed the playoffs, and at least some of them might make them. I only listed 5 true contenders from each conference. So there's 2 more playoff spots. These teams might make it, but I just don't think they're going to make any type of run. For our real awards now, getting down into it. The Offensive Rookie of the Year. I've got 2 routes here, and I know I got to pick one. And my main one is Jaden Daniels. Right now, with what we've seen, it's kind of a no-brainer, especially because he won the head-to-head matchup. Do I care about that? No, I really don't. But the voters tend to, if 2 MVP candidates play each other, they tend to let the one who wins get the award. It's just what's happened. I think it's a terrible way to do it, but this is not my choice necessarily. It's about who I think will win. It's a prediction video. I think Daniels gets it. However, I think Caleb Williams has a very fair shot still. He's played well. I think they both played well. It is what it is, but I'm going with Daniels for now. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going with Jared Verse. Not my favorite guy, honestly, to win this, but the positive for him is he's on a team that's going to go on a run here. The Rams, they do this every year. They start off shaky. Is Matthew Stafford washed? Is he going to retire? Is Cooper Kupp dead with a leg injury? This, that, and the third. And then they make something happen and they end up in the playoffs as a 5 seed. Why don't they do it again? I think they do. Jared Verse, he'll be a part of that. He's done a very good job this season. Give him Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think it's going to happen. Comeback Player of the Year, give it to Joe Burrow. I don't really think there's a competition for this one. If there is, let me know who I'm missing out on. But I think Joe Burrow is kind of running away with this one. He's played very good football. The team's just not succeeding. Coach of the Year, to me, I think this is an absolute no-brainer. It's Mike Tomlin. No one thought Pittsburgh was going to lead their division. No one thought they were going to be 6-2. No one thought that Russ should come in and play. And look, all those decisions have been Tomlin's, and he's turned them into great decisions. Russ looks substantially better than Fields, and that was a Tomlin-only decision. That right there might win him the award. The fact that it was public knowledge that, hey, the GM, maybe he didn't want to see Russ play. Our offensive coordinator, the owner, maybe they didn't believe in Russ. They saw Fields. They're like, hey, this is pretty good. Let's keep rolling. Tomlin said, no. We got a guy here who is proven, veteran, leadership qualities, all of it through the board. Give him a chance. And they did, and it's paid off. I think Tomlin gets this award as long as they don't just bomb the second half of the season. Saquon is going to be my Offensive Player of the Year. Yeah, Derrick Henry is kind of a front runner for this right now. I think they're going to taper off a little bit. I think they get into a lot of divisional ball here. Derrick Henry's a great player, but he's also 31-ish years old. It's pretty old. I think Saquon's going to carry this Eagles team a long, long way. Give it to Saquon in this one. Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt. Man, what stats do you need here? All of them. None of them. All of them. Stats tell part of the story, not the whole story. Is he had the most dominant sack numbers he's ever had? He hasn't. But if you watch any of these games, there is no player on the field that is guarded like TJ Watt. There's no player on the field that is more impactful than TJ Watt. The Steelers' record with and without him is night and day. There's no comparison here to TJ Watt. No edge rusher there's no defensive player in the league. There's no player in the league that is on the level that TJ Watt is right now this season. He has been by far the most dominant player. Not Lamar, not Josh Allen, not Derrick Henry, not Myles Garrett, not Max Crosby. No one else has been as dominant as TJ Watt. He's winning every matchup. He's winning every battle. PFF, I don't really love them. They're a tool. They're not a full-on believing system, but the tool itself is not a negative thing. It's just the perception of it. But either way, he has played like 590 snaps or something like that. He's had 6 negative graded plays. That is insane. That is an otherworldly achievement. He's going to win DPOY. I think it's not going to be close because there's nobody playing as good as he has. And then MVP, the final award here, I think it's going to be none other than Josh Allen. He finally is going to get his own. He deserves it. This team is playing good football. He's not turning the ball over. He's scoring touchdowns. He's throwing up yards. This guy's carrying this team. And if you see, let's say Lamar is the other front runner right now, which I don't know why he is. If he goes away from that team, they can still win games behind Derrick Henry. They've done it with Tyler Huntley. They've done it with others. We've seen it happen. If Josh Allen was to leave this Bills team right now, they would be in grave danger. Grave danger. There's no debating that. Josh Allen, the most valuable player, is absolutely Josh Allen this season. I don't think there's anybody that's really coming close to that right now. Sneaky underdog there, Jared Goff, but that's only if Josh Allen kind of tapers off and Goff keeps playing amazing. But either way, that's going to do it for my predictions for all the awards at mid-season. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Who do you think will win these awards? Who will lose them? Who have I got wrong? Who have I got right? What contenders do you see? What guys do you think are fakers? Either way, thank y'all for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a single thing, and it helps me out a ton, and I will see you on the next video.